Hey guys, welcome back to the Blood Show podcast. This is your host, Amy Grace, or you can call me AG, just don't call me Amy. Today, we are going to be talking about confidence. And I'm super excited to talk about this because, not because I think I'm an expert, but because I was in God's Word about this and I was praying about it and I was like, man, I feel like I have something really good to share with you guys today. I'm so sorry if you're watching on the YouTube and the lighting is literally crazy. I think it's about to rain, but I'm not like I don't know what's going on outside. But the lighting keeps changing on the camera. I cannot talk. It keeps changing on the camera and I don't know how to fix it, so it is what it is. But anyways, I hope you guys are having a great week. My week was good. It was kind of odd. I think it was just like the first week back from spring break was just like it just felt weird. But I mean, nothing like horrible happened. I was not feeling good yesterday. But I'm feeling better today, so a win is a win. I'm excited to be with you guys in the Word of God. Confidence, in my opinion, is so tricky because I think I made a previous podcast episode on confidence, and I'm kind of scared to go back and watch it because I have no idea what I said, but I have a feeling that I have a different set of tips for you about confidence now. But I don't know. I'll have to go back and watch that, or you guys will have to let me know. I think that so often, whenever we think about confidence, we think about like having to find something within ourselves to be confident in. And the more that I was thinking about confidence and what I wanted to say about that, the more I was just like, man, like confidence actually has nothing to do with us and who we are, and it actually has everything to do with God and who He is. And so I want to dig into Joshua chapter 1 because I think that I think that Joshua's story is such a testimony to God's faithfulness and God's strength and God's character in Joshua's life when Joshua was in a position where, I don't know, if I was in Joshua's position, I would have been so insecure about what was being asked of me and like the leadership position that I was gonna have to step into. Like, I I would not be confident. Let's just say that. I would not be confident in myself to do something like that. I'm going to give you a little bit of background on what's happening in this first chapter. And so, previously, before the book of Joshua, Moses had led Israel out of Egypt. They were in bondage there, and God delivered them. And so, Moses led them out of bondage into the wilderness, where they spent a lot of time in the wilderness. God provided the people of Israel with everything they needed. I mean, they had food, they had water, they had guidance. Like, I think I read this last night and I never understood what the pillar of cloud by day and fire by night, I never knew what that was until I was studying last night. And guys, God literally like crafted a pillar like made up of clouds. I'm pretty sure this is what it is. God like crafted a pillar made up of clouds to lead the people in the direction they were supposed to go. Like he gave them a little like it was like their GPS, but like clouds in the sky. It's so cool, right? So cool. So that was that during the day, but then by night, obviously they're in the wilderness, so it's pitch black, right? So like they don't have torches or anything. Like it's pitch black. How are they gonna travel? Oh, well, God just sets this pillar on fire and it provides them with light, I guess, enough light to help them travel through the night. Is that not crazy? Like, God gave them everything they needed. Like, imagine if you were just out in the woods by yourself. Well, I mean, they had people with them, but like a bunch of people, you don't have no supplies, you don't have your phones, you don't have flashlights. Like, you were just out in the woods, just you in the woods, you in nature. What would you do? in that like, I don't know, I would be terrified. I would be like, oh, I'm gonna die out here because I don't have any food, I don't have any water, I don't know where I'm going. What am I supposed to do? But like, God provided. And so I think that that is just really cool. It's a little backstory. But now what's happening in Joshua is Moses dies, okay? Rest in peace, Moses. So sad. Moses dies, and Moses was the leader of the people of Israel, right? Moses had a servant named Joshua. And so God appoints Joshua as the new leader, okay? So Joshua goes from being a servant to being a leader. If that was me, I would be a little bit like, are we sure about this? Like, maybe we should have a press conference, just like talk out the details, like maybe get a few votes from a few people just to make sure like I'm the man for the job, right? No, God just said, oh, Joshua, you're in. Like, okay, coach really put me in, like, got it. That's the situation going on right now. And so God is telling Joshua exactly what he's going to do. He's going to lead the people of Israel into the promised land, okay? But, they're going to have, like, difficulties and pushbacks, but God is saying that they're going to win. Like, God is going to deliver the people. He's going to give them victory. If you've read through all of Joshua, then you know that, like, God does what he says he's going to do. But just imagine, like, being in this position in the moment. God is saying that he's gonna bring victory, but like, you're the one that's gonna have to like go to war. You're the one that's gonna have to lead the people into the promised land. Like, that is a big task. God says in verse 7, he says, only be strong and very courageous, being careful to do according to the law that Moses my servant commanded you. Do not turn from it to the right hand or to the left, that you may have good success wherever you go. And so it's not just like they're going to war, like they're having to be faithful to God in all areas, in all aspects. And that's a big task. Verse that stuck out to me that I kind of want to dig into, or I guess the verses, I'll probably read a few, but I'm going to start in verse 5 where it says, this is God talking. He's saying, just as I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will not leave you nor forsake you. Be strong and courageous, for you shall cause this people to inherit the land that I swore to their fathers to give them. I love that God tells Joshua that just as he was with Moses, God will also be with Joshua. This is also like a promise for us. Like, God promises to always be with us. He promises to never forsake us. And like, when you have God with you, what more could you ask for? Like, that is everything that you need. And so in the context of confidence, I think it's important to look at the areas where we might need confidence. I still to this day get so nervous when I have to walk into a room of people that I don't know. And I think it's because deep within my heart, I have this desire to be liked by people. I have this desire to please man. And that can be such a hindrance in my own life, because I will walk into a room and immediately just feel so defeated. Like all of these thoughts will start running through my head. Like, you look awkward. You're dumb. You don't have anything good to say. Like, you should just leave. Like, it's so stupid. But those are the things that go through my head. I used to listen to those voices, like those thoughts that I would have. Like, I used to take those seriously, and it would prevent me from going and meeting new people, going to try new things, going to events that I thought were fun, but I may not know many people there. Like, I used to just not go to those things, or if I like felt uncomfortable somewhere, like I would just leave. And the tendency to do that is still there, but I think what's so different is that I met Jesus, and Jesus showed me that like those things don't have to run my life anymore. I don't have to be afraid of people not liking me. Like, it sucks and it hurts and it is a reality. Like, a lot of people are not gonna like you, but that shouldn't stop you from walking into a room or introducing yourself to new people. I know I've talked about this before, but in high school, my best friend was super outgoing, so cool. She still is all of those things. But in high school, I was very insecure about my personality and just like who I was. Like, I was really confident in my ability to dance. And so, like, in dance settings, I was like, yeah, I got this. I walk into a room, I'd be like, okay, like, I'm it. Probably a little too prideful, but that was just the reality. Like, in dance, I was super confident, but then in every other area of my life, I was like, I don't know who I am. And the Lord really worked that out, but in the midst of all of that, my best friend just, like, exuded this confidence that I so badly, like, wanted to have, and I, instead of, like, celebrating that and, you know, being thankful for somebody like that in my life who pushes me out of my comfort zone, for a long time, I think that I was really envious of that, and I would just shrink back into my insecurities and just be like, man, well, I'll never be like that, or I'm never going to be that way, so why even try? And it took a long time for me to realize that, like, no, I never will be her, but that's okay. Like, there is a lot about me that is sufficient. Like, it's enough. Like, I don't have to be the prettiest in the room, the loudest in the room, the funniest in the room, the most liked in the room. I don't have to be any of those things to walk into a room and be confident in who God has created me to be. I think it stems from a deeper rooted issue of, like, what my purpose is. Because I think in high school, a lot of my purpose was wrapped up in being the prettiest girl in the room, being the funniest, being the most liked, having the most friends. I think that's what a lot of my identity was in. But now that I just have gotten closer to the Lord and He has revealed more about His character and who He's created me to be and what I'm supposed to walk in, I no longer feel like my purpose is wrapped up in those things. Even though the tendency and the thoughts and the insecurities are still there, I know that my purpose is to glorify God. And so whenever those insecurities come up of, like, oh, well, what if they don't like you? Or, oh, what if you aren't the, like, prettiest in the room? It's like, okay, well, then, like, sure, that might suck for a little bit, but, like, that's not why I'm supposed to walk into that room. Like, I'm not walking in that room to be the prettiest girl there. I'm not walking in that room to be the most liked girl in that room. Like, I'm walking in that room to glorify God. Part of glorifying God is walking in the confidence of who He is. My God is strong. My God is courageous. My God is brave. My God is a light. Like, my God is everything that this world needs. And so I don't have to put so much pressure on myself to be all of those things, because I know that I can come to the Lord and I can say, Lord, give me what I need today. If I need courage, I know I'm going to get it from Him. If I need strength, I know that I'm going to get it from Him. If I need confidence, I know that I'm going to find that in Him. Because true confidence can only be found in Him. Everything else is fleeting, everything else is wavering, everything else temporary. Like, it's not going to be sufficient in the long term. And so I could give you all of these tips on how to be confident, how to have self-confidence, how to be comfortable in your own skin. I could give you all of these tips that you could find within yourself, but ultimately, I think you need to know who God is. I think you need to get in the Word. I think you need to read the Word and believe it. Like, when God says He will always be with us, that means He'll always be with us, period. Like, there's no, well, He's not going to be with you when you're in this place, or He's not going to be with you when you're on a first date. Like, he promises to always be with us no matter what. And so you can be confident that if you're walking into a scary situation or a scary conversation, God is with you. And that doesn't mean that you're always going to have a great outcome, but it does mean that God is always going to be with you. and he is working everything out for his glory and our good. Like, even when it doesn't seem good to us, we know that God is good, and so everything that he's doing is for the greater good. And so I obviously cannot get through the whole book of Joshua, but if you want to read Joshua's whole story, I highly encourage you to do it. My church has been going through Joshua, and so I've just been learning about his story and what happened in the book of Joshua. But I just think it's so important for us to remember that, like, what God did for Joshua, what God did for Moses, what God did for everyone in the Bible, he can also do for us. And, like, it doesn't stop there. Like, he is still bigger than life. He is still good. He still does miracles. He is so much greater than we could ever imagine. That's what I think is important to communicate to you guys. Like, that is what is going to stick. This is what is going to last. This is what's important, and this is what you need to walk out a fulfilled, purposeful, and authentic life. Like, this is what that is. This is where that is found. Confidence is not found in yourself. Confidence is found in God. So lean into God. Lean into learning about who he is. Like, we will be learning about who he is for the rest of our lives, because that is just how freaking huge he is. Like, we will never come to the end of the knowledge of God, because his knowledge is infinite. Like, we'll never be able to fully grasp it, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't seek to learn about it. And so learn who God is, learn about what he promises, learn about who he calls you to be, because that is where purpose is found. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you're listening on Spotify, be sure to leave a rating. It really helps me out, and it helps other people find the podcast. So if you do that, I would be very appreciative. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. And no matter what platform you're watching on, if you enjoyed this, share it with somebody you know. And with that being said, I will see you guys next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Bye!